Am I the asshole for telling my Japanese friend to stop judging me and other people for how we dress? I live in the UK and was with a friend who is originally from Japan, and she wanted to be taken on a tour of my city. We visited shops, went uptown on the train and a few other areas. Something she immediately pointed out is what I was wearing, a baseball cap, full gray Nike tracksuit, and Nike trainers. She asked me if I was going to play baseball or go to the gym because of my tracksuit. I looked at her a tad confused and said no, we're going to tour the city. While we were out, she noticed lots of other people wearing the same combination of clobber and asked me if they're baseball players or going to the gym, and I said no. That is literally the most common style there is in my city. We wear that clobber everywhere, even if we're just going to appointments. She said it's very weird and doesn't look right no matter how many people do it, and people shouldn't dress like that in restaurants, etc. I said, look, it's comfortable and sportswear is also very popular in the UK, even if you aren't doing sports. I said I don't judge Japanese people for what they wear, so she shouldn't have come to England just to judge what we normally wear. Was I the asshole here? No assholes here. She is experiencing culture shock. It's natural. She'll either get used to it or be miserable. That's up to her. Nah. I kinda see your point, but imagine if it was the style to wear a hard hat and reflective vest, and someone was confused as to why all these construction workers are at the movies. This appears to be genuine culture shock, not really judging. Nah. You could use this as an opportunity to have an interesting talk about cultural differences instead of berating each other. But it's not that big of a deal. Also, are you Danny Dyer or something? Don't think I've ever heard anyone use clobber in the real world, outside of EastEnders. Nah. I am British, and your friend could not be more correct. Put the average tracksuit wearing Brit next to a busload of tourists from France, and observe how terrible we look. Nah. This is a trifle. Seriously, why are you even talking about it? No assholes here. My sister-in-law is Japanese, and had the same reaction, lol. My brother always wears trackies, and she felt a bit tricked, because when she first started dating him, he was dressing in jeans and smart shirts. Although, it did take her many years to be honest, that she had thought we were all scruffy looking. I think it's just a culture clash on what's an appropriate way to dress in public and sportswear as streetswear. Wouldn't take it personally. I get the impression that in Japan it is seen as more normal to be judgy on whether people are dressed appropriately, but could be wrong. Am I the asshole for telling my neighbor if her new fence is on my property, I'm going to ask she moves it? I have historically had a good relationship with my elderly neighbor. We have always been nothing but friendly with each other. We own hillside homes in Southern California, each worth about $1 million in today's market. Last week she told me she was going to fence her yard because she doesn't like the high school kids down the street trespassing. I told go for it. All I ask is keep it on your property. This week the fence was completed. She flagged me down in my driveway today and asked me what I thought of her new fence. I was honest with my concerns and let her know the contractor installed the fence several feet to the south of the sewer grates, which I believe is several feet on my property. Per my title records, we split the easement, so I thought it should be placed on the north side of the sewer grate on her side. Fence was installed in one day, and all took place while I was at work. I had no time to pause it while they were building, or I would have said something. She kind of shrugged it off and told me she doesn't think it's placed wrong. I told her due to the expensive land in our area, I would be scheduling to have a survey done to confirm the fence is properly placed. I informed her if it was off by inches it wouldn't be a problem, but if it's discovered it's several feet on my property, I would ask it be moved. She seemed kinda surprised and irritated that I would request the fence be moved, asking if I would be willing to just live with it due to the expense. I informed her due to the small yard and expensive land in our area, I don't think that's something I would be okay with. I kindly informed her I think she should have had a survey done prior to fence placement if this was something she was concerned about. I don't think I should donate land I pay for because of her error. Too long did not read. Neighbor's new fence appears to be on my property. I'm getting a survey to confirm. Neighbor is upset I'm getting survey and says even if her fence is on my land, she asks I don't make her move it. Not the asshole. Getting a survey should have been part of her due diligence before she got the fence installed. Not the asshole. This is a common tactic to gain more real estate by neighbors. Get that survey. Not the asshole. If it is indeed several feet over the line, that needs to be moved ASAP. Heck, even more than 6 inch, and I'd say move it. Land/property taxes keep going up. You're paying for land you can't access if her fence is in the wrong spot. End of story. Do not let her keep your property that you have to pay taxes on. Not the asshole get the survey, which is what she should have done in the first place. I have to wonder if she even got a permit for it, because in my area that's a requirement for a new fence along with submitting line drawings to show that it will be built on the correct property. Having her fence on your property is a big problem, especially if you ever want to sell your property. Potential buyers will not want to inherit that fight. Not the asshole. I'm surprised she found a fence company willing to do it without a proper survey. Our town would also require a permit. Wow, imagine taking your neighbor's land and expecting them to be okay with it. She was hoping you wouldn't mind her land grab and do anything about it. Survey and making her move it is way to go. Am I the asshole for being pissed at my friend for taking my dead baby's name? 2024, my husband and I were expecting our first baby. I was 5 months pregnant when had a placental abruption, and my baby passed away after I had an emergency C-section. I was devastated and depressed. I'm still grieving and have a hard time being around babies and attending baby showers. After being 2 months postpartum, my husband's cousin's girlfriend asked me if we could talk because she went through a miscarriage at 5 or 6 weeks, and she wanted someone to talk to about her grief. I was not in any shape or form to discuss the topic of pregnancy. I did tell her I am not the right person to be asking because I am not in the best shape to talk about it. She begged me because she needed mental help, so I consolidate her. But in my head, I am angry because she was practically comparing how we both had similar experiences. She was well aware of what we named our daughter BTW. We had chosen the name after myself and my husband. It was a combo of our own names. It was perfect. Her and I made Day of the Dead altars for our babies last year, bonded, got closer eventually. January 2025, she tells me she's pregnant and can't wait. Mind you, I'm still grieving, but I'm happy for her. She finds out she's having a baby girl. This August 2025, she told that she's having medical complications and will have to deliver sooner than expected. Her SIL and I are planning a surprise brunch for her. Also plan to set up a baby corner and clean her house. I go over one day to take her fresh juice and this beautiful arrangement of flowers I had ordered for her. She goes into labor 2 days after I saw her. I go to the hospital, but I don't go into the room because I'm still grieving, but I want her to know I'm there for her. 2 weeks pass. My husband and I go to the friend's house to see the new baby. We take her homemade food, and I had ordered a bunch of things for her and her baby on Amazon that were going to come afterwards because she couldn't have a baby shower. So, we are sitting there talking and I ask her, "What did you name her?" She says, "Isabella Guadalupe Socorro, the great Nana's names." She laughs and her BD does too, and he keeps saying, "Yeah, that's her name." 3 weeks later, I'm doing her MIL hair, and I ask her about the baby, and I said it's nice they named her Isabella Guadalupe Socorro. She laughed and said, "No, they didn't name her that. They named her Amelia, or Amelia. That is the name of my baby." I'm pissed. I went to her house the next day and asked her why she chose that name, and she says, "I forgot what. I have the name tattooed on my arm. I have her on my IG bio. We bonded last year." She said, "Iku told you the name. I told only 5 people, and it was supposed to be a secret. You weren't supposed to know. Thank you for sparing my emotions. But fuck you." There's no way she would have forgotten, because if she had, she wouldn't have tried so hard to keep it a secret from me. So, am I the asshole for being angry at her for using the name? I think I'm right for being pissed. You need to exorcise this woman from your life, like the soul-sucking demon she is. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. 9 times out of 10 I would have told you. You don't own a name. You're the 1 out of 10. Your friend knows what she did, and she deserves your anger. Not the asshole. The fact that she and her partner laughed about it when telling you a fake name is just horrible. They couldn't even own up to it to your face because they knew it was weird. No one actually owns the name itself, but the whole way this went down is so insensitive. Fuck them honestly. You WTF. Nothing else matters other than the fact they gave you a fake name and laughed about it? That is beyond fucking insanity. Never talk to her again. It's one thing to use the name, but an entirely different emotional fuck-up to give you a fake name. That gives me the creeps. I am so sorry for your loss, and am sorry you had to deal with this extra trauma. 1. She's not your friend. 2. Never go to a person to console them when you yourself are grieving. Her grief is not more important than yours. I have a friend like that, where all things related to her are more important than anything happening in anyone else's lives. Don't give in anymore, never. 3. Don't be a doormat no more. You're grieving, you don't want to be around babies, then don't be. But she'll be sad I'm not there, her problem. Fuck it. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. While you don't own the name, if she didn't think it was a big deal, they wouldn't have lied to you about the name. Am I the asshole for kicking my homeless friend out of my house? I, 32M, live with my wife, 29F, somewhere in France. Earlier this year, one of her close friends, 30F, got dumped by her boyfriend, and he kicked her out. She couldn't go to her mom because she lives with her grandma, and she said it was too stressful. But it could have still be an option. They live like 6 hours away by car from us. My wife is very kind and invited her to stay with us during our wedding prep. She slept in our room for 3 weeks and the night of our wedding. It was supposed to be temporary, just until she figured things out. Now it's been 5 months. She never said when she planned to leave. I kept asking her to look for a job, but every time it looked like she was going to start, she went on vacation instead. We helped her update her resume and even sent her profile to a few companies. If we hadn't done it for her, she would have lost her benefits completely. She sent a total of 1 resume on her own in the last 10 months. She lives in our living room, which is half of our flat. She keeps the shutters closed all day until she wake up, 12 or even 4 p.m., so we have no natural light. My wife and I both work from home. We do meetings from the kitchen on a stool because we don't want to wake her up. She almost never does dishes or clean, and when she does, it's half done. I told her many times I don't feel comfortable entering the living room while she sleeps, but nothing changed. Few months ago, I finally asked, "When are you leaving?" She looked confused like, "Leaving what?" I said the apartment. She said initially she was planning for September. She never said a word about that. Now maybe October. I was so relieved because that talk was hard for me. Then mid-September she left for few weeks without telling us, leaving all her stuff. She texted the morning that she was coming back that day. I asked, "Okay, but then you leave right after?" She said, "What do you mean leave?" I reminded her of our talk. She said she didn't remember, then she said, "If I don't find a job, I'll see what I can do during October." She didn't say that. We talked again recently. I told her she uses ambiguity to her advantage, and that her silence is driving me crazy. She cried a lot, but I still talked. I tried to emphasize our feelings over hers during the conversation. I made her acknowledge and tell me what she understood of the conversation. Felt like she understood. Fast forward to today. She still didn't give me a date. She just said, "I think I leave next week and take my stuff in November." This time I said, "No, you give me a date, and after that you're not living here." She said, "I don't know," which pissed me off, and I told her that after the 1st of November she won't be living here. She said okay, but later told my wife she was leaving around November. Now I feel trapped in my own home and tired of this situation. I know we could have been more firm with her by establishing rules when she moved in, but am I the asshole for kicking my homeless friend out of my house? Stop WFH in the kitchen. You need to WFH in the lounge room. Open up all the shutters, play loud music or TV while you're having breakfast. Kick her out of bed, tell her she needs to get up because you need TO work. FFS, why did you even let her back in when she went off for 3 weeks? You should have packed up her stuff and had it waiting for her. Look, she doesn't have a job there, she doesn't need to stay there. Pack up all her stuff and get her a train/bus ticket to her mom's town for this weekend. SMH. Pack up her and her stuff and ship her off to her mom. She needs to figure it out, and until you actually kick her out, you are enabling this behavior. Not the asshole. If she can afford a vacation, she can afford an apartment. Stop being doormats and give her a date she has to leave by. No, when will you be ready? It's you need to leave by October 31st. If you're not gone, I'm donating everything of yours to charity shop and changing locks. Not the asshole, but I think it's high time your wife start dealing with her friend herself instead. Kick her out ASAP though. Not the asshole. Check out the eviction process in your region of France and follow it to a T. It's the only way you're going to get this freeloading leech off your sofa and out of your apartment. You've been more than generous, and she's going to keep moving the goal posts until she knows you're dead serious. You're not a hotel. She's going to drag this out as long as she can. Start putting her things in boxes and have them waiting for her by the door. You need to stand up for yourself. Tell her if she doesn't take her stuff and leave immediately, you'll be putting her stuff outside and changing the locks. Change them anyway once she's gone.